was hilarious for 14 seasons on Saturday Night Live, doing spot-on impersonations of Bill Clinton, Dick Cheney, Donald Trump, and plenty of others. But he exposes a horrific childhood of abuse that drove him in and out of rehab and psych wards in a brutally honest autobiography called God, If You're Not Up There, I'm Blanked. Please welcome Darrell Hammond. As you can see, they blanked out one word of the book.
They cut it out.
And you know what the word is. You know what the word is.
Yeah.
But anyway, they couldn't show the word.
They couldn't show. Well, it's not like it's the real word. It's, you know, implied.
It was my first prayer, and I didn't know any prayers.
It was real.
And I was jammed up, and I think I got extra credit from God.
Heck yeah. But the word itself was just stars. It really wasn't the word. They would never put that out in a bookstore anyway. But, you know, I read this book, and Darrell, it's just an incredible book. All of you should buy this book. Or maybe they're getting it today?
It's possible.
I don't know. Okay. Anyway, sorry. That was my bad.
No.
So, but they would be shocked, I think, people to hear about your life because besides the drugs, the alcohol, you had this horrific, horrible childhood at the hands of your own mother. In fact, it was so bad, and the results of all of that abuse was so bad that they took you out in a straitjacket one day out of Saturday Night Live. Tell us what happened that day.
Well, I'm not clear. I mean, I was having lots of flashbacks, and I was cutting, you know.
Cutting yourself.
Yeah, but I think that day I was just disoriented. I was going through that kind of thing all the time, and that day it was so severe. Some nice policeman came and respectfully put me in an ambulance.
Yeah, and in a straitjacket.
Yeah, in a straitjacket.
For so long, I mean, you had been in and out of rehab and psych wards, but you were misdiagnosed for years. Everything from manic depressive to schizophrenic, they labeled you as. But how did you finally get an accurate diagnosis?
I didn't die. I stayed around a long time, and I didn't get killed. And one day, you know, the first of a series of really gifted doctors walked into my life. In this case, I was in the emergency room at New York Presbyterian Hospital, and she said, "You're not any of these things. You are this way because of something that happened."
Well, you know, and at that point you opened.
And I was like, wow, yeah, that was the beginning. I think beginning, yeah.
Well, you were correctly diagnosed. This is such a book it was so hard to read some of this, but you were correctly diagnosed, and then you found out after being correctly diagnosed that you learned that you had suppressed a horrible childhood of abuse that was inflicted by your mother.
It's really unbelievable.
And this is the terrible thing. Your mom would put at 5 years old, put your finger in electrical sockets. She would beat you. She slammed your hand in the car door. She hit you in the stomach with a hammer.
When you were five,
When you were 5 years old. Darrell, was there anybody who was aware of this in your family, your dad?
No, I mean,
anybody?
Monsters don't have witnesses. No witnesses of this kind of thing. I mean, they're not going to... I mean, it's one thing to be seen disciplining your child, even spanking your child, and it's another thing to be seen committing a crime.
Did your mom ever see the wrong in it? Did you come to peace with her?
No. My father, who was pretty rambunctious, you know, at the end of his life, he copped to, I wasn't such a great dad, but I loved you, and you know, and it made it all fine. You know, my mom went through...
He thought it made it all fine.
Well, he thought it did, but I mean, I loved it. It made me feel like I had a dad, you know?
Yeah. Scraps, though, right?
My mom went to her death like Bundy to the chair.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
didn't she say you were my buddy, right? We were buddies.
With a southern accent.
Yeah, that she didn't use with you, but only on the phone with...
Well, yeah, when she was working it, yeah.
There was something that in the book that struck me too. It was your mom loved impersonations, and it was sort of the genesis of why you started doing them was to please her, right? In a way, and she enjoyed it.
I noticed she could talk like other people, and she enjoyed talking like other people. And then one day, she was talking like one of the neighbors, and in conversation, I started talking like that same neighbor, and I realized, oh my God, I can do it too.
You know, but in that moment, there was
there was
peace between you, right?
Yeah, there was, but also I think that she became dreamy and childlike, and I don't know if you've ever seen a good mechanic who loves his job, and they listen to a car, and they really get off on what they're doing. It was like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was mentally ill.
Yeah.
When your therapist told you that it wasn't schizophrenia, it wasn't anything she'd been told, and once you were able to sort of get to where you needed to be, she suggested that you confront your folks. Did you?
Yeah.
You did that, and how'd that work out?
I called my mother and I said I was at a very famous hospital recently, and they put me in group therapy with people that were tortured and raped. Not the normal, group therapy, and I'd like to talk to you about that. And there was a beat, and then she just said, "Don't ever call us, ever again."
Monsters don't want witnesses, and they don't want to be called on.
No, I mean, in their mind, they're not doing something wrong, and they become enraged if you suggest that they are.
Darrell, you said that you did these impersonations for your mom. You found that you could talk like other people with her, and you were known on SNL for doing some very famous people: Clinton, Sean Connery, Donald Trump. You have a funny story about, to change it up a little bit, you going to get a colonoscopy. Tell us about that.
Well, just to give you a background, if you're on SNL, everyone watches, and you get lots of comments in the streets, and I was successful with playing Clinton. Right. And in the most bizarre situations imaginable, some not fit for this show, people have asked me to do Clinton.
But he loves you.
I love him.
Yeah.
I thanked him for my house, for God's sake. And I'll do it right now again. But I was getting a colonoscopy, and I don't want to be indelicate, because I won't be. But, it involves a camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
It involves an entrance, not designed for a camera.
Yes. Yes.
And as the camera was approaching its mark, the anesthesiologist leaned into me and said, "What would Clinton say?" And I didn't say it because I was wasted but what I wanted to say was, "What is a nice girl like you doing?" And apply the letter.
Now we know you for a lot of it. I know you do Al Sharpton. You were great as Al Sharpton.
He's got a show now. Let's see. Yeah.
Do Sharpton?
Yeah, do Sharpton.
Oh, sure. Well, I love him because he's not coached.
Yeah.
He doesn't plan. He says exactly what he's thinking, and therefore it's safe to say that you can't figure out what he's going to say. So I was watching TV one day, and I saw Dick Gephardt talking about Homeland Security, and I changed the channel. I saw Joe Lieberman talking about tax cuts. Yeah. I changed the channel again. I heard Sharpton say, "I did not call Giuliani a bozo." Yeah, well, Mr. Trump has, a very healthy ego.
Yes.
It's not something I'm fond of him, and he's been very kind to me. But he doesn't process negativity. He's very optimistic. Okay. You can't insult him.
No.
It bounces off. Yeah. Like Rosie O'Donnell was trying to insult him, she's like, and it bounced off. She's like,
he attacks back.
Yeah, she's like, he likes younger women. He left his wife for younger women. Trump's like, yeah, and.
Toothpaste is not formulated for cleaning dentures.